I was just noticing here uh, that this your data source needs to be refreshed, and I don't have permissions to it. So otherwise, I would try to fix it. But let's just click on this, and I'll first show you, put it in a new tab, and walk you through what you would do. Is you now would just click here, then go to reconfigure, then click this, and uh, see, since I don't have access to that connection you set up, it's asking me, do I want to make a new one? I think yours should show the previous one you established and allow you to basically refresh it. So that's how you would resolve that. Now let's go back to this clip here. I want to show you some tips and tricks on formatting. So how you can get more out of this and make it easier to read, or to suit whatever your visual, the way you want to present the information. So when you click on table, you'll see these tabs down here are going to give you some other options. And so some things you can do, you can either pick the number of columns you want to display here, or you can go up here and say insert one to left or right, or this is where you also can move them. And you can also say how many rows I want to show at any one time. And in this case, so if there's 8, if there's more than 8, let's say there's 15, it would automatically include a scroll bar. So let's click on one of these individual columns. And I'm going to move this up a bit. And you'll see you have some options here to like have a pre-built sort, which may not make sense for these, or you could do it alpha if you want it. But there's other things you can do, like maybe it's more appropriate for this column here. If you want allowed word wrap, if these are really long, you can do that, and it'll, again, the row height will become taller. You can also do things like if I went here and I want it to have a, I was going to show you on this one. A fixed width. So some of these ones you can have a defined width, and let's say you figure there's going to be nothing's going to be more than 150 characters or pixels. You can then set that either by pixels or a percentage. But this is sometimes helpful if you have a lot of data you want to show, and so you're trying to make better use of the space by controlling the width. But that's kind of not always necessary. Then here with dates, there's a problem with this one. It doesn't recognize as dates because, see, there's 2 different formats, and that's actually a data source thing that I'll show you about in a moment, because it should be able to automatically pick it up. And in fact, if I tried to make this a date, I'm not sure it would recognize it. Yeah, see, it's asking for a consistent format, and these are different. They're not consistent, so I can't do that. So I'll just go back to automatic. But here you can have a predefined sort, and it would sort the whole table. And of course, when you're looking at the clip in the dashboard, you can then click on any column head to override that sort, but the default one. And so this is particularly helpful. Obviously, you can do it alpha, but if this was a date, which the system doesn't recognize it as a date, but if it would, you can have oldest to newest, newest to oldest. So sometimes those things are helpful. And same thing with like this column here. There's some of these look apparently long, or even the conversation topics here. You can allow word wrap, so it will then make the row height taller. You can also do other things, of course, the alignment for that, and so forth. Now, back to this one here with the date. You have to make that change in the actual data source, and I'll show you that in a second here. And okay, there we are. So this is modeled data, meaning you can have data sources come in, and sometimes the data, depending on the source, it can have a structure that's not easily it's not easy to work with. So the models kind of act as a go-between. They kind of massage the data from when the source first comes in, and then you can still do customize its look and feel within each individual clip. So I went here to edit, and here the date reached. I can't even do an automatic, or I can't try to override it because again, these are two different formats. So in the actual source data, if you just have a consistent date, the system would probably recognize that, and you wouldn't need to do this. But if for some reason it doesn't, this is a way you can set it up at the actual source, or pardon me, when the data, when it first comes in, massage it so it's easier to work with when you're actually then using it within Eclipse.